Hello, welcome to a new video. Now if you were in the data world, you've probably heard of the saying that 80% of data work is finding, cleaning, and preparing data, right? And on this channel, the focus of the channel, basically, one of our core values is finding the right tools to use to find the kind of data that you need. And today we're going to be focusing on another data gathering tool, which is a scraper. Yes, we're going to be scraping tweets, and this is going to be a blown out tutorial where I'm going to be showing you the ins and outs, how you can customize it and get all the information that you need out of it. So let's get into it. Welcome to Data Projects with MJ. Now, the scraper that you're going to be working with today is called SNScrape. Let's go to our browser real quick. So SNScrape is a scraper that I found out about a couple of days ago, and I've been working on it quite a bit for a project. I had a project at work that needed some scraping, and Twint wasn't handling it. Now, if you're not familiar with Twint, it was the scraper that I used in my very first YouTube video, and it was my very first scraping project. So now I found one that works even better. Dare I say it, it works even better. Now, SNScrape, there's a whole bunch of documentation about it on the GitHub repo. The link will be in the description. So what you can get out of it, basically, you can scrape like Facebook stuff, Instagram stuff, Mastodon stuff, Reddit stuff, Telegram stuff, Twitter, whatever that is, Weibo. Okay, cool. So for the focus of this video, I'm going to be going with Twitter. For one main reason is because I always find, even though it's full of bots, I always find that Twitter is a very rich source of information, followed by Reddit, right? So for now, we're going to be using Twitter. Now, if you look at the installations, yeah, you can install it via the GitHub link, blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to stick with the basic pip install SNScrape. Now, let's go to PyCharm. And let's do the installations. So the reason why I use PyCharm is because of things like this, where when I create a project, it just does the what you call this thing, environment. It sets up the environment on its own, basically, and you don't have to worry about anything. Cool. Now I'm gonna be splitting this entire project into pieces, and I'm gonna be adding timestamps and everything, so you can just go to the piece that you're looking for and work with that. That's completely cool. Now let's create a new file called keyword, because we're focusing on keywords right now. We're gonna hit a little quick import SNScrape dot modules dot, and you can see all the pieces here, Twitter. Now, in order to understand why it does, you have to do your inputs like this, we have to analyze the actual source code, right? So if you go to the GitHub repo and you go to SNScrape up there, give it a minute, then you go to modules. Now we can see all the specific pieces. So you see, you have to follow this directory step-by-step flow type thing to actually get to the piece that you want. And if you go to Twitter, then you'll be able to see all the bits and pieces inside that you can like get out of that information. Cool. Now we're gonna say as I'm gonna call scraper. Cool. And then so how SNScrape works is that when you do your call, you have to run it in a for loop in order to get the results out of there. But just to have a test, let's run it without the for loop and see what we get. So let's say let's print scraper dot. Now if you say dot, that's where you see all the stuff that you want to scrape, basically. If you want to scrape, like, for example, the utilities, sorry, that's what I meant, utilities. So if you can see like the utilities that we want like, if you want to search using a term, you can use the search. If you want to search trends, tweets, blah, 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 blah. But for this one, I'm going to show you the power of this one component here, this Twitter search scraper component. It's really good. It is really, really good. And we have to add this get items at the end. Now in here, in these bubbles here, this is where you specify the query that you want. As you see, it says the parameter query not fulfilled, and this is the specific term that you want to scrape. So for this one, I'm gonna go with Tesla. Okay, cool. So now let's run that. Keyword, and I'm not using the run command because it gets very iffy sometimes. Cool. So now we have this. Now you see it's generating an object, but it's not allowing us to read into it, which is a problem. So let's go in there and fix that. So to fix that, we say for let's say for tweet in this piece here, then you say print tweet. Now let's run that again. Let's clear this. Let's run that again, and let's wait for the magic. Voila, we're getting tweets coming in non-stop. Let's cancel that. Now let's open one, just a random one. Cool, there's a whole lot of stuff here, and we see, there we go, we got Tesla right there. Let's take another one at random again. Let's just take that. Yeah, so we have Tesla there. So there's a lot of, it basically goes to Twitter and gets a whole lot of tweets about whatever it is that you're looking for, right? Whatever keyword you have. Cool. So that basically covers it for keyword search. You can change this keyword to be whatever you want, and you can scrape whatever it is that you want. The next piece of the video, we're going to be looking at scraping a particular user's tweets, but there's a trick to it. Let's go on to the next piece. Right, for this next piece, let's create a new file here, and let's say user. Yeah, let's just keep it at user. Right, and let's just copy this. Let's copy that and bring it there. Let's close this. Cool. So now what we have here is we're gonna be using, as I showed you before, let's just hit that scraper dot Twitter piece. You could use this user scraper component here, right? This scraper component here, which might or might not work, but I am gonna show you another way of doing it, another awesome way of doing it. We're still gonna stick to this search scraper piece, and the only thing we're going to change from this entire script is just before the query here, we're going to use this from with a colon on it. That's it. That is it. This is all we change. You just add this from colon there. Now let's run that. Let's change this to be the name of the file that we're running. Let's run that. Give it a minute. And there we go. The tweets start rolling in. Let's cut that off. Let's, as you can see already, we get in this twitter.com/Tesla/status, and you're getting all those tweets. Let's pick one. And my oh my, we are getting Tesla tweets. Yes. Cool. That's it. That's as basic as you can get. All you do is change one, like a single query. You just add from colon. That's it. And the user Twitter username that you're looking for. Yeah, I'm not a Twitter person, so I might get those words wrong. Yeah, this thingamabob. Yeah, I think it's a username. Yes, I think it's a username. Don't fight me on that one. I'm not really sure. Cool. So we can get tweets about a keyword. We can get tweets from a particular user. The next piece of the video, we're gonna be focusing on limiting tweets. And this can be done in two ways. Now, in this piece of the video, we're going to be focusing on limitations, how to limit the number of tweets that we're getting. Now, there are particular reasons why you'd want to limit, because one, this API scraper absolutely has no limit, so it can scrape on and on and on and on and on, which is both good and bad. Why is it good? It's good because you can get an abundance of data and you can grow your data set as big as possible. The more data, the better. But it's also bad because you might have limited resources, or you might have a particular window that you're looking into. For example, if you have a project that relates to investigating why, oh, this is something that I did before, actually, investigating the public media's perception of cryptocurrency and the actual price movements of cryptocurrency. You can use this kind of limitations to gather tweets, do some sentiment analysis on those, and then compare those to price movements and see if things, the more positive you get out of social media, does it actually mean that cryptocurrency prices go up or go down and stuff like that. So that's one particular reason, but we had to look at it for 3 specific months. So that's where the limitations come in. Now, as I've been saying, I've given you 2 hints as to how there are 2 different types of limitations. One limitation is limiting by the actual number of tweets, and the other is limiting by the number, or by the dates, limiting by specific dates. So for this one, let's open another Python project. Let's limit by dates. Now, the reason why I'm splitting it up like this is so that we can have a clear segmentation between the code, and this is all going to be on GitHub, so you can just go in there and you can find each individual piece, and you can use it and understand it the way you need it. Cool. So actually, I should have copied this. Actually, let's copy the whole thing. Let's go to dates. Cool. Let's close this keywords. Now in this, let me highlight that. So in this date pieces, we're still going to maintain the same thing, but you're going to be limiting by dates. How do you do that? Again, dead easy. In the query, we have 2 bits. We have until and we have since, right? When you're using the until command, it scrapes all the tweets until a particular date. And the way the scraper works is that when it scrapes the way we see the tweets on Twitter. Now, if you look at, let's just go to Tesla real quick. Sorry about that. So if we see Tesla, if we're scraping Tesla, it's gonna get this tweet first, followed by this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this. So it goes from the most recent to the oldest. Unlike some other scrapers out there that, oh, that's hilarious. Unlike some other scrapers that actually just pick them up in random order and then you have to order it out. This one does it from the most recent to the oldest. And from what I've seen so far, you cannot do the opposite. You can't get it to get the oldest to the most recent. So that's something to keep in mind. But that's why we can limit using the since keyword. So if we know that, so basically if the project that we have just says scrape from whichever date you want until today, then you use the since command. But if it says scrape until, I know it's confusing, the wording can be a bit confusing. So let me give you an example. If we want tweets until today's the 6th of November, so let's say we want tweets that were tweeted by Tesla until the 1st of November. So we're gonna use the until command and say, I can't remember whether it's year first. Yeah, I mean, let's test it out, why not, right? And let's run that. Let's run that and see what we get. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay, cool. Let's kill that. Now let's take a quick look. Yes, you can see this tweet was made on the 1st of November. On the 1st of November. And if you look at the ones we pulled earlier, it was scraping the 6th of November. So this shows you that it goes in the most recent to the oldest, right? So that's how you can easily follow through and see what you are scraping, the order that you're scraping. So if you have a limit to the most recent that you can get, then use the until. But if you don't have a limit, then you don't need until. But what if we want to get tweets? Actually, let's change this to Tesla's tweets, because Tesla doesn't tweet that often, and we want to actually be able to see the disparity in the data, in the date that we're getting. So now let's say we want to scrape from the first, actually no, let's make this even smaller. Let's say you want to scrape from the 4th until today. What you're gonna do then is gonna say since, and now let's run that. Now we got one tweet. Let's take a look. We got a tweet made on the 5th. Now I have a theory as to what might be happening here. We might actually have to step this down to 3, because I'm theorizing that it actually counts actually the 4th. Okay, cool. Now it's good. We all good. My theory has been proven incorrect. Cool. Now we're getting like one tweet or something like that. Now let's combine the two. Let's say we want tweets from the 30th. No, let's say the 30th of October until the 5th of November. Yeah, let's put that way. So we're gonna say since 2022 October the 30th until 2022 November the 5th, right? And let's run that now and see what we get. We got 3 tweets. Interesting. Let's see. Let's what we get. Cool. We got one 30th of October. Okay. See the next one. We got 31st. Cool. And the last one. We got November the 2nd. And we were limiting to November the 5th. So let's investigate. I think my theory is going to be proven right. I think so. Let's investigate. Let's go to Tesla's actual tweet section and let's see what we're getting. So we got this one, the 2nd of November. No, actually, no, we didn't. Did we? I don't know. Cool. 2nd of November, there we had that. We had this one, and we had this one, the 30th, right? Cool. That proves my point. It's working. Subarashi. Cool. Now let's clear that. For the next piece of the video, we're gonna be looking at limiting using the number of tweets. Yes, we're going to be limiting by the actual count. So we won't take into account the number of days or anything. We're just looking at the number of tweets we can get. So let's cool. So in this next piece, we're going to be looking at limiting the number of tweets using a count. Basically, I'm just going to label this number. Yeah, forgive my naming conventions. I'm horrible at this. Even at work, I've been called out for the way I name things. Cool. So the way we do number limitations using the scraper is we use the enumerate function, right? For those who do not know, let's investigate what enumerate means. Yeah, here we go. I don't know how to explain it. It's like adding a count to a collection of data, if I'm not mistaken, a data collection object into an enumerate object, right? Yeah, so basically each collection, it adds a date to each collection, and therefore it adds a number to each data collection, sorry, and then you can actually call back using those numbers. Now I always go to this website, Geeks for Geeks. It's personally, I think it's the best. It makes like dev work so easy to go through. Let's close all of this, and now you can see we have this, and when you basically add enumerate on that, you get stuff like this. So it basically adds a key to each one. It numbers everything with a key, so you can easily call it from using the actual number itself, right? Cool. Now how do you use that here? We're gonna just adjust this code a tiny bit. How we're gonna do that is here, because we need two, now we're working with keys, so we need to have an identifier for the actual number and the key and the, what is it called in dictionaries? A key pair, right? There's the key and there's the object, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and then you just wrap this entire piece, you just wrap it up in the enumerate function. That's it. So now that we have this, we've basically saying that as it scrapes, it should wrap everything up in that. To visualize it, let's have a quick print. In fact, let's why did I do that? Let's print it out, and let's print an if statement. Actually, let's have it. Why am I making so many mistakes? Let's say number I, and then treat. Let's just package that up like that, and let's add a, oh nope, let's add a new line thingamabop. Cool. Now let's run that number.py. Let's run that and see what we get. Stop. Now you see we have this. So this is what it does. It basically wraps everything up. So you can see number 1, there's it, number 2, there's it, number 3, there's it, number 4, there's. So this is what we going to be using. So how do we use this to limit the number of tweets? We're gonna use an if and examine this number as our limit. Doesn't make sense, I know. So let me show it to you. We're gonna say if I is greater than, let's say 10. No, we want to get 10, so we're gonna say 9 actually, because Python starts from 0. I'm gonna say if it's greater than that, break the code, break it, let it fall apart, else continue. Now, oh sorry, let's clear up things from here. Cool. So let's run that and see what we get. Is a number dot py. No. Cool. Let's give it a minute, and there we go. We're getting tweets like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have a total of 10 tweets that we've scraped. Perfect. So this is how you limit based on the number of tweets, and you can go ham with this number. The last time I used it, I had a limit of like 10,000, and it just kept on going and going and going and going, and didn't even blink. It didn't even glitch whatsoever. Cool. So that covers the limitations. Now for the next and final piece of this video, we're gonna be looking at expanding the details that we're getting. If you look at what we're getting here, we're just getting the URL of the tweet, but we can get a lot more. Like we can go really granular with it, and this is going to be the longest piece of the video because of just how granular we can get. So yes, right now for the fun stuff, this is what I think is the fun stuff, where we enriching our data, enriching the data that we have. Let's create a new file and let's call this details, because we are getting into the details of things. I'm so hyped for this one. Let's go. snscrape.modules.to. That's another thing that I like about PyCharm, the whole autocomplete function. Brilliant. Cool. And then let's do that. So I'm gonna be limiting based on the number of tweets, because I don't want to use dates. It gets a bit too much for me personally when I'm trying to, especially when I'm trying to examine what's going on without a limit. So I just scrape as much as I can, and then I analyze going forward. That's how I'm then actually able to get some clarity on where to kind of like filter through. For example, if I'm looking at if we're focusing on Tesla, and I'm saying I want to see Tesla's share price if it's influenced by social media or whatever the case is, then I'm not going to add a limit on the date. I'm just going to scrape as much as I can. Just scrape, and then once I've scraped, wrap it up in a nice like pandas data frame or PySpark or whatever the case is, and then do some analysis. Once I have a clear picture on that, then I can come back to the script and say, okay, let's scrape between two particular dates, because those dates look like the ones that have a bit more information that I can actually use. So just for basic sandbox type development work, I highly advise just working with no limitations whatsoever. But I'm still going to be focusing on Tesla's tweets rather than keyword Tesla, because of the high number that we're getting. And that's don't forget this get items piece, right? And then let's say if for this one, let's go a bit bigger. Let's go 200. Let's break. Actually, no, I'm still gonna stick with 10 because we're gonna be getting a lot more information now. So I want it to be simple. 10, right? Else we want to print. Now if we hit, because now everything is wrapped up in this tweet. Each tweet variable is an object, right? We're gonna say tweet dot. If we add dot, now we see all this. Also, this is because of the autocomplete, PyCharm autocomplete, we're actually able to analyze just how granular we can go. This is the kind of stuff that gets me hyped. This is the kind of stuff that really gets me in there, right? So we can scrape users, date, content, source label, like count, source URL, usernames, places, coordinates. These two actually depend on whether the person who made the tweet had location settings on when they made the tweet, so we can get coordinates and stuff like that. Cool. I don't know what cache tags are. Conversation ID, hashtags, the actual, I think this is the tweet ID if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't know. Then we have the language, media mentioned. There's a lot. Like there is a lot of stuff that you can get out of this. I would also I'm also gonna add a list of these things on the GitHub repo readme file, so you can actually go through it and see it. And also in this piece of the code, this script here, I'm gonna have all of them labeled out, so you can actually wrap them up nicely. So let's get the date. That's always important. Let's get the tweet. That's also, no, we have this use content. If you want the tweet, you have to say content. Then you say tweet dot, let's get the likes, like count, yeah, and let's get tweet dot username. And let's run that. Python 3. What's the name of this file? Details.py. Let's give it a minute. Yeah, I saw this hash coming from a mile away. So yeah, it's messy. Okay, so now it's telling us that the username component is deprecated and we have to use user.username. There's a reason I didn't use this piece, and I'm gonna show you why now, because it's interesting. So now as we analyze this, what we're seeing here is that we are getting let's focus on one that you can actually read. Let's look at these ones here at the bottom. So we're getting the date, that's good. We're getting the actual tweet itself until there, that's good. We're getting the likes, that's good, and we're getting the username, that's very good. and that's how we're getting all the granularity out of it. Now it's fuzzy because of the way I had it set up here. How we can then wrap this up even better is using a list, but nah, that's overkill for now, because for now we just want to get a quick visual of what we want. Now let's fix this little piece here. If I can just get rid of these, because I just want to focus on the user data, the user data. Right now, this user component here, it's very important for me, because this is how we are actually able to understand the tweet maker. What are people who make tweets called? The Twitterers? I don't know. So if we put a dot there, now we see just how much we can get out of that piece as well. We can get the username, whether the user is verified, the user's ID, the user label, when the account was created, the description URLs, display names, favorites count, number of followers, number of friends. It's insane. It's really insane how granular you can get. So for most of my user projects, I often want to get the username, and I want to get whether they're verified or not, and I also want to get how many followers they have. These are very important, because if you're in an environment whereby you're doing a lot of understanding of social media influence, you need to understand the people who are making those tweets, what influence do they have. In that way, you're actually able to work your way back up to the source and do troubleshooting that way. It's very important. I believe this is very important. This granularity piece is extremely important. So now we see that the tweets, because we actually doing this from Tesla. Oh, sorry, that was a stupid way of doing it. When I get a disparity, right? Let's give it a minute. Cool. Now we see that there's this person called Tesla stars. They're not verified, but they have 5,531. Let's do a quick Google search, a Twitter search on this Tesla stars person. Let's go to Tesla. Let's say Tesla stars, and let's see what we get. Here we go. Here's Tesla stars. There's Tesla stars, and there it is. They have 5,531 followers, and there's no check marks, so they are not verified. Let's see if we can. So there's none that are verified here so far. Let's increase that and see if we can get one that's actually verified or not. Let's run that. Let's see what we get. I'm not seeing anything verified so far. Okay, no, that's fine. Bit disappointing, but that's all good, because if we look at Tesla's profile, they are verified, so they have the check mark there. Yeah, no, it's completely fine. Let's just undo what we've done. Because I didn't actually check what the details were when I used this from Tesla part. Yeah, it is verified. So as you can see, under verified, it says true. So this is just an example of how granular you can get with the data, and how much you can kind of like expand out and grow it, and etc. And so for this last piece, this is more like a bonus piece. We're gonna be using this granularity and the pandas package to wrap it up in a nice data frame and export this data as a CSV. This is just one way of exporting the data for further analysis, or just to share it with people in like a Google Sheet or something like that. So cool. So for this piece, we're going to be focusing on wrapping this up in a data frame and exporting it as a CSV. Now it's we're not going to change. We're still going to work on this details piece because it's literally like adding one or two pieces and we're not going to be doing much. So let's first test if this environment has pandas. Let's import pandas. Okay, pandas is not in there, so let's import it real quick. Settings. I mean, you can do a pip install there, but I just like showing off this part here. Pandas, and we have pandas there. Let's do an import. Let's give it a minute. Okay, cool. It's done importing. So how are we gonna get it into this pandas? Easy. We're gonna create a list. I'm still gonna continue with what we have here, so I'm not gonna, okay, let me maybe add something else. Let's say tweet.content. Let's get the actual tweet itself and the date. No, dot date. Cool. Now let's come up with a name for a list. I don't know, tweet list, something like that. I told you guys, I'm bad with words. Don't judge me. And we're gonna append this to the list. Let's append that. Let's put that in square brackets, and then let's just print that list and see what we get. I hope it's right. There we go. We have a list. This is awesome. We got a list. Cool. Now let's clear this out for the sake of neatness, whatever it is, tidiness. Yeah, I believe that is. So let's say dot. Actually, we don't need this. We just need a data frame, and in there we're going to put the name of the list. That's the data. And then we're gonna have a columns section where we're gonna add the names of the fields. So I'm just gonna rearrange them in here. So we want no, actually that's a bad idea. That's a very bad idea. Go away. So you're gonna have the username, then you're gonna have the is verified, then you're gonna have the followers count or number of followers, then you're gonna have the tweet, and then we have date. Stupid order, I know. Now that we have it like this, we can split it up. We can have like df like this. You can have df is equals to that, and you can go df dot to csv, blah, blah, blah. But I prefer to just do it in one fell swoop. Now, admittedly, this is not a very good way of doing it because like of readability's sake. Like if you have a long list here, it doesn't look good when you add this piece here. It's actually a much better idea to split it up and reference. Actually, no, let's do that. Let's split it up for readability's sake, right? You can, then we do it like this, and then you say df dot, yeah, it's dot to csv, and we give it a name, and you just say Tesla scrape, because why not, .csv. Cool. Now let's run this and see what we get. Give it a minute. Cool, it's done. Now if you see here, we now have a Tesla scrape CSV. Let's open that. I just have an extension that does this color coding thing to it so you can read it. So we can see now username. Here the usernames that you're getting is verified. Yes, it is. Followers count. Here it is. Tweet. There it is. Date. There it is. So now you can export this as is. Let's now upload this to a Google Sheet and see what we get. Let's close this. Let's say Google Sheet. Let's go to this random one here. Okay, cool. So I have imported the sheet here. Oh, sorry about that. I've imported the sheet here. Yeah, I just decided to off screen that because Google was acting up for whatever weird reason. And cool. So now we have ourselves a simple Excel spreadsheet where you can see all these things. You can now take this and import it into whatever data analysis tool that you use, or data frame, or data warehouse, whichever way you go. It's completely up to you. And now we have ourselves a scraper that you can customize as you want, you can tweak as you want, and you can use it to export pieces of data as you want. And so I know there is a way to export this as a JSON, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here it is. But the command line usability is not good. From what I've seen, it's not great. I struggled with it. I haven't been able to make sense of it. So it's a bit here and there. That's why I prefer to use Python, and also because it's much easier to wrap it up when you're using it in Python, and you can actually add more granularity. Man, I'd like to give a big thank you and a big kudos to the team behind the group of collaborators behind this project. As you can see, these 12 collaborators here. I'd like to say that we highly appreciate them and the work that they do. And yeah, this is an amazing tool, and it's really useful in a lot of different fields, including my own field as well. So we highly appreciate them. We highly appreciate the work that they do, and please go ahead and support them in any way possible. If you can, contribute as well if you wanna add to this project, and we can grow it even bigger as a community. And yeah, that has been that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. If you like this video, if this video was helpful to you in any way or opened your eyes or on something, please do like, subscribe to the channel, because more videos are coming, more tutorials, more projects. We're going to be building some more stuff. All the code is going to be on GitHub, so you can access it and you can tweak it as you want. The links to both the scraper as well as the actual project that we've built, the tutorial that we've just had, is going to be on GitHub as well, with a nice summarized version in the summarized description in the README file. And yeah, if you have any video suggestions, please let me know. Let me know in the description box. Suggest something that we can take a look at, something we can try and building using some of these Python tools, and let's grow the community even more. Now, actually, I don't think it's gonna work, because I think I might have to refresh the terminal. Yeah. Cool. Now let's clear that. Let's have that. And I mean, yeah, this is me going overkill. Oh wait, it's not in. Interesting. Huh. That's very interesting. Pandas as PD. Okay, let's highlight this out. Let's just comment this out and see if it'll actually give us an error, because if pandas is not installed, then it should give us an error that is not there. Yeah, it's saying that modules pandas is not there. Okay, cool, we're back. So I finally figured out what the problem was. The problem is that when I'm doing installations in PyCharm, it installs it to the environment that I've set up here, and my environment variable is on the Windows machine. But the packages, when I'm running this pip install or whatever, no, when I'm running the actual script, it looks at what's in the Windows subsystem for Linux environment, which doesn't have pandas. So I had to install that in this section in order to get it running and to actually get it working. Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand it well myself. That's why it's so confusing, and I actually can't explain it much more easily than that. But let's clear this out and let's no, don't install again, yeah, I'm good, my friend, I'm good. Let's see if we run that. We should good. We're not getting any errors now. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now let's uncomment this code and continue on.